Lincoln declares, "A house divided shall not stand." We can't have a nation that's half slave and half free. It does mark a turning point in his mind. He recognizes that in his political life, he's going to have to object to slavery in a way that is tougher and more controversial.
Lincoln begins to campaign through the state and invites Douglass to a series of joint debates. Douglass writes back and says, "I'm under no obligation to meet jointly with you. I'm the incumbent senator. I'm the most famous politician in America at this moment. Why am I going to give you space on a platform with me?" But Douglass can't resist.
Afternoon, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for coming out. Appreciate you.
Douglass comes in as the champion. He comes in a train with a special car decorated. He comes with servants, with secretaries.
Ma'am, come on, good to see you.
And Lincoln has to walk from one debate to another. The reputation of Lincoln and Douglass were both on the line here.
They literally are setting up the conflict in the nation.
From when we're both young men, and no one can compete with him in wrestling, or a foot race, or pouring whiskey in his grocery store. We served on the state legislature together. And then, Mr. Lincoln submerged for a time, until he reappeared in the hallowed halls of Congress, where he distinguished himself by his opposition to the war with Mexico, taking the side of the common enemy against his own country. And he again submerged. He came up again in 1854, this time in cahoots with Fred Douglass and his abolitionist friends, just in time to create this black Republican platform.
That's right, Douglas. Hit him again. Thinking you're two-faced.
If I had two faces, you think I'd be wearing this one?
This old rivalry has come to roost.
Very good, very good.
Lincoln felt that his life had been a flat failure compared to Douglass's. Douglass had gotten further than he had, and now they're running against each other for the Senate.
Now, I am no giant like Judge Douglas. I'm a mere mortal. Now, his ambition, it far exceeds my own. His party, they all expect him to be president one day. Yeah. And then they will all reap the benefits of his greatness. Yeah. But nobody has ever looked at my lean, lank face and expected me to be president.
People come to these debates with all the fervent love and attention that they would bring to a giant sporting event today. But these were more important than any sporting event could have been.
I am here to talk about basic principles. Now, if the Negro is a man, why then my ancient faith teaches me that all men are created equal. And that there can be no moral right in connection with one man making a slave of another.
Well, let's talk about principle. I care more for the great principle of self-government, the right of the people to rule, than I do for all the Negroes in Christendom.
When a white man governs himself, that is self-government. But when he governs himself, and he also governs another man, that is more than self-government. That is despotism.
Mr. Lincoln and his ilk want Negro equality in all things. If they get their way, Negroes and whites will be permitted to marry. Negroes will serve on juries. Negroes will vote.
During these debates, Lincoln's not an abolitionist by any stretch, but he's inadvertently making their arguments as he's looking for logic in the constitutionality of all of this.
And he goes way back to Euclid. Euclid is very much about how you prove something beyond any shadow of a doubt. And he's working toward crushing the fallacious arguments on behalf of slavery.
But like most people of the day, he absolutely fervently believes that black people are inferior, whether they're enslaved or freed.
Just because I believe the Negro should be free does not mean that I want to marry one. As a nation, we began by declaring that all men are created equal. We now practically read it, all men are created equal except Negroes. Soon it will read, all men are created equal except Negroes and foreigners and Catholics. Negroes, like many other men, may not be equal in all things. But if they are men, they are entitled to their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The real issue, which will last long after the tongues of Judge Douglas and I are silent, is the eternal struggle between these two principles, between right and wrong.
What Lincoln does so brilliantly is he takes that core language of the Declaration of Independence and turns it into a nation's moral compass. And he couples that with constitutionality, and he couples that with scripture. He has a really powerful argument.
This is where Lincoln makes his name. One debate after another. Everything had prepared him for the repertoire of talents that he was able to show in these debates. He's telling stories, he's funny, he can talk philosophically, he can talk politically.
The Lincoln-Douglas debates helped Lincoln. It raised his profile, lifted him up a lot, but he loses the election.
One of the things about Lincoln that's amazing is that he loses a lot, but the great ones in life take a loss and they come back.
Even though he loses this election, once again, the loss becomes a platform for him to grow. Underlying it all is there's a passion that he has, a passion for that cause of anti-slavery, which is coming to a head.